All right. What's going on, Shadowy TV? This is your boy Rody, and I am here with my very first gameplay review of the newly released Assassin's Creed Syndicate. To start off this review, I want to give you guys a little bit of a backstory about this title and what Assassin's Creed Syndicate is all about. So throughout the beginning of the game, you'll see that there are two major characters, both Jacob and Evie, and they are twin siblings. And unfortunately, at the beginning of the game, they don't really divulge how they became assassins or what was their reason behind wanting to become assassins originally, outside that their father was some well-known assassin throughout the Templars, as well as he died. And unfortunately, that's something that I do not too much like about video games. If they introduce a major character, I need to see something that makes me want to be attached to them, or a history, or give me something major. Because we all know that Assassin's Creed is all about history. I mean, from the characters that we meet, you can definitely see that. From Charles Darwin to Edgar Allan Poe, all these characters are sprinkled throughout the game. But I do want to get a little bit of history about the characters that I'm going to be playing with for the next 15 hours, which is about the time frame for this game. But I do like the fact that they do have their own styles, and they also played that to a favor with the move selections. For instance, Evie is the more cynical, quiet type, which is going to make sure that everything gets done correctly and to a pinpoint without any errors, whereas Jacob is the one who's brash, hard-headed, and just going to run in gunslinging or knife stabbing. As you'll see throughout the game, there's a lot of fighting and very cool killing styles, which you'll see again throughout some of this footage. But also with the move selection, they do have it broken down where you can focus on either of the siblings, and you can also change them at the push of the right stick to focus on their abilities, where Jacob will have, the more hardcore abilities to slash and kill, and then Evie is going to have the sneaking abilities, as well as, if you get farther into the game, she can also have a chameleon ability, which means she pretty much goes invisible, which I'll show you guys later on in the footage, which is also something that's pretty handy throughout Assassin's Creed, as you know, which a lot of hiding and running. And as I mentioned, running, that is one major thing that I did not like, the travel in this game. There are about 3 different routes you can use to travel throughout the massive city of London, which is this is located at. You can either walk or run, use a horse and buggy, or you can use the zip line similar to Batman, just zip line to the top of a building and kind of cross the tops of the building through the zip line or jump across. Now, from what I experienced throughout this game, I did beat the entire game. I almost preferred to run anywhere and anywhere throughout the city, where it was on top of a building or through the streets. It was a lot easier and almost quicker and less of a hassle than stealing a buggy, because none of the buggies were yours unless you actually bought them later in the game. So you'd have to hijack them. And as you'll see in the footage, I did run past tons and tons of vehicles to be able to be hijacked to just run to the center point where I was trying to go. It was less of a hassle because I didn't have to worry about people calling the cops and chasing me and then losing track of where I was initially going. And it was just not as much of a hassle. The turning and the steering on those buggies was very difficult, and it's easy to cause issues and cause commotion, which again causes more people to try to chase you and run you down. The third type of transportation, which was my least favorite, was the zip line. It did have one pro where if you were to get to the top of one of the highest buildings in the game, you can zip line down, which can be a quicker route to any place in the map. But not all buildings are very tall. They're usually about the same level, which again kind of sucks for something that requires a speed. The zip line did not have any type of upgradable abilities, which I thought was something that could have been something put into the game, because using it throughout the game would have definitely been nice to have more speed and urgency when you're tracking down and chasing. Now, unfortunately, there is another fault to this game that I've come across, was the actual story for the game. Aside from not having too much of a history with Jacob and Evie, you did kind of get a chance to like them throughout the game. But the villains that we came across, the major Templar characters that you end up killing throughout the game, which I think was about 9 or 10 in total, you didn't really get an understanding of what was their purpose or their history. It was really just a pinpoint and go after. And unfortunately, that was not very broad in the game. I mean, it was either go after these small little gangs within the city and complete the small repetitive task. And again, repetitive, as you'll see in these maps, I show that there are tons of small territories which you can take over, but there's no variation within the tasks that you got to complete. There's probably 3, which is either a capture and bring back, which got very, very boring. And then there's also a hunt where you find the Master Templar within, or just kill the entire group and just take over. Now, those got repetitive after the first 50 times, and I didn't even complete the entire city of London before I decided to just finish with the story. I did get about 60 some odd % done with all that, but I just decided that it wasn't necessarily worth my time to continue to keep doing something so repetitive without any real reward. And unfortunately, that's what I felt about the actual storyline Assassins. Those are my favorite part of Assassin's Creed, where it's really in-depth and intricate way to how to kill these Master Templars and go throughout their hideouts and make the smart decisions. It was only a few of them throughout the game. I really wish that there were more in-depth killing scenes that we could get throughout the game. I did have fun going through them, making sure that you could either go through one of 3 special killings. You could get help from someone that works there, or poison somebody's water to make them kill more enemies, or grab a mask. Like, it's just tons of different ways to get to the final destination of killing one of these Templars. Unfortunately, you didn't really understand what the reason behind killing these Templars were. There was not real in-depth discussion on what their reasoning in the game was, or their motive, aside from they work for the final boss that you beat at the end. One of my favorite things in this game was the fighting system again, which triggered a lot of sweet cutscenes when you got the villain's health at a certain point, and you could kill up to about 5 or 6 people at once with this trigger. It was very, very cool watching this, as I'll show you guys in the footage, to just see Evie or Jacob just go at these guys in utter just destruction. Something how Batman would do, and just put these guys out of their misery, which I thought was something that was really rewarding in the game. The fighting system was very, very cool. And the weapons. There was a plethora of weapons throughout this game that you could upgrade to. I did not craft not one weapon throughout the entire game, and I still got down to the master list just based off of completing the side quests and leveling up. You can still get these items without having to spend any direct money, as well as with spending money on getting your gang upgraded and getting the items. That was a real cool part of the game, because I'm really into upgrading and making your character as best as possible. And I could definitely see they put a lot of time and effort into making the characters and the abilities and weapons as cool as possible, as well as the outfits. Those are really cool, as well as in Assassin's Creed. They do give little attributes to having sweet outfits. As you guys will see, I was able to get the Master's outfit for both Evie and Jacob, and they do give cool attributes like increased attack or stealth or defense. So I did appreciate that throughout the game, just to be able to kind of increase and grow throughout the game with the characters. Another one of the cool things that I noticed, as well as a fault in the game, they changed up away some of the upgrades and the items that you had. For instance, the lock picking ability has been changed over to just an upgradable attribute, instead of having to buy individual toothpicks and upgrade throughout the game. I thought that was something that was really cool, because there are tons of chests in this game, as well as different missions that you can get if you have the upgraded ability, as well as making some of the missions easier to get through certain doors. Instead of wasting 5 to 10 toothpicks to unlock a door, you could just upgrade the ability if you've made it to that point in the game. They also did take out some extra cool features that I did like in the previous Assassin's Creeds, like being able to meld in with the actual crowd. Now, you can still hide within the crowd, but it's not as clear to see that you are inside the crowd and can hide, as well as sit down on the benches and kind of hide away from the oncoming cops. Those kind of features really did make Assassin's Creed cool, as well as being able to walk through the crowd and push people out the way gently. That's something that I really do miss. One of the cool things, though, was being able to add gang members throughout the game and have them attack the police officers, or increase their abilities to help you throughout certain missions. It was really, really difficult at certain points throughout the game to get through certain areas because of the amount of officers, which is a good thing, because you don't want every mission to be super easy. You did have to plan out what you were going to do, watch the route that they walked. Sometimes you had to just die as closest to the mission as possible, because they would revive you and put you back in that saved spot where you died at. So they were kind of giving you a little bit of help throughout the game if you got close enough to the success point to move on. This game, it seems like it's just real easy and cut and dry. I mean, it could be, me just beating it real quickly. There were, of course, as usual with Assassin's Creed, a lot of glitches. There were times in the game where I had to complete things 2 times over because the game couldn't compute that I completed a task. Other times, characters completely disappeared from in my arms when I was rescuing them. Sometimes I would just run in midair when I was trying to transfer over roofs. So, of course, in the fashion of Assassin's Creed, there are plenty of glitches that I'm sure they will patch down the line. So I wasn't too much surprised about that, but it did suck that it affected my gameplay. There were times throughout my gaming that on Twitch, in fact, that I had to restart the game because it froze in the middle of the simplest things. But, you know, those are things that I guess come with these newer titles that are rushed out. But hopefully that won't be the same case for you guys. But all in all, I would say that this wouldn't be a game I would recommend for everyone to play unless you're just a diehard Assassin's Creed fan. For $60, I would not rush out and get it. I would almost go GameFly it or just wait until it's a little bit cheaper. Just didn't cut it for me, unfortunately. I will be taking this back to get another game, probably Halo, but I didn't too much enjoy it, unfortunately. Had a good time at some points in the game, but without it having a good story to make me compel and be connected to the characters, no real fear or understanding of what the villains were after, as well as a side story for these 3 individuals throughout real life outside of the Abstergo company, them searching for and things. It's just a lot of things going on in the game that are not really put together well. They just drop you in certain points and just say, get after it. Which for some people that may be okay, but for me, I'm really based off stories and getting a connection. So, unfortunately, Shadowy TV, I would have to say that this would fall as a dead Shadowy in my book, but it's still something that you can just understand to say, hey, maybe I can watch somebody on Twitch play it or watch some walkthroughs online and call it a day. This wouldn't be something I'd say go out and jump and grab. But that is going to do all for my review of this game. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And for my very first review, please tell me down below what you think of this, what I could do better, or what I did great. Always trying to improve, and I appreciate you guys for subscribing and following my channel. Make sure you check out all my other gameplay footage, and I got plenty more reviews from albums and games, as well as cool little videos that I'll make down the line. And I appreciate you guys for following. That's Shadowy TV, and we are out.